Hi there, I'm Lisa from Mythical Witchery. Welcome to my channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today I'd like to share with you an indie deck that I just received a few days ago. I'm really excited about this deck. When I got it, for the first few hours, I really struggled to keep my hands off this deck. I would put it down and pick it up again and shuffle it and look at it, and I'd put it down and then I'd pick it back up again. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, and it's such lovely quality, so easy to shuffle. I just love it. So this is the Earthbound Tarot, and this is created, let me just read the back to you here. Earthbound Tarot is a hand-painted deck created with pigments foraged from the land itself, rock, ash, and organic materials gathered from across New Mexico. Each of the 78 original paintings was made using watercolor paints, ground by hand with a mortar and pestle, then mixed with natural binders to create colors rooted in the desert's palette. This is a deck of deep connection to nature, to craft, and to the cycles of growth, decay, and renewal that shape our lives. Every card carries the energy of the land that it came from. So this, let me just find the creator's information here and share it with you. So this is by Celine Gordon. And let's have a look inside. So it comes in a tuck box, which some of you already know that I'm not a big fan of tuck boxes, but you know, some decks are worth the tuck box, in my opinion. It's got a little guidebook here. It's not huge, but it's 96 pages, and it's quite good. We'll have a look at that after in more depth, but it gives a write-up on each card, a little introduction on some of the materials that she used to create her pigments, and a bit of information on each card, which is really nice because although this is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith, some of the cards, a lot of the cards are really close and you can tell immediately when you look at them, but other cards are a little bit trickier. So the guidebook really explains things very well. We'll look at that again in a while. These are the backs. Now, if you look at this, it's actually divided into 4 quadrants here. So if you cover it here and then cover it again here, this is the actual scene that she painted and then mirrored it horizontally and then vertically as well. So quite a nice background. I think I like that a lot. It is printed on a 310 GSM black core paper, and it's got a linen finish. It's not the smoothest linen finish, but it's really nice. I love it. Look at that. We've got the Fool right here. I've shuffled this so many times, and yet I keep having the Ace of Cups come up. Every time I do a reading for myself, shuffle this deck, I keep getting the Ace of Cups, which is really interesting. So, okay, let's just have a quick shuffle because I cannot stop myself from shuffling it. You know, I usually put decks in order before I show them here on my channel, but I've just been shuffling this constantly, and honestly, I just wanted to get to it. But I'm actually going to take a few minutes here just to put it in order so that it's a bit easier for you to see. So I will be back. Okay, that's done. All right, so I'm going to zoom in and we will have a nice close look at all of these cards. All right, here, so we've got our Fool. Isn't she beautiful? I just love the colors. Absolutely gorgeous. They're so soft, so earthy, as well they should be. Now, as this is our first card, I'm going to have a look at the entry in the book and just see how she described this card. So she says, the fool dances at the edge of a cliff, barefoot and beaming, untethered to anything but her own joy. She has begun the process of breaking free from past identities and illusions. Hello, Oracle. Where are we here? To outsiders, she may appear reckless, but there is wisdom in her wildness. The Fool marks the beginning of a journey, a sacred leap into the unknown. She invites us to reject what no longer feels true and to forge a path that is wholly our own. In order to awaken, we must first unlearn. The Fool asks us to trust our instincts, follow our curiosity, and take the first step, even if we don't yet know where it leads. She may seem foolish to those who cling to convention, but her courage lies in her refusal to settle for a safe or predetermined life. She would rather risk the fall than walk a path that isn't hers. And then she gives 3 journaling questions for each card. What path are you being called to follow? In what ways have you been labeled foolish for following your own truth? And what would you do if you weren't afraid of being wrong or judged? So some really great journaling questions there as well. Okay, moving on to our Magician. The High Priestess. The Empress. The Emperor. The Hierophant. The Lovers. Love the blues in there. Gosh, that's gorgeous. The Chariot. Strength. What a gorgeous card. I love how the frame here, like, actually blends in with the environment itself. Really, really beautiful. The Hermit. This looks like a view from inside his cave, perhaps, with the night sky behind him. Could be wrong about that, but let me just have a quick look at the guidebook here, especially being that the Hermit is one of my absolute favorite cards. So this says the Hermit steps into a dark cave, lighting the path ahead with a lantern he holds in his hand. The cave is quiet, still, and unknowable, a place where outside voices fade. He invites us to enter an internal space where solitude becomes both a guide and a mirror. And then, of course, it goes on from there. But that's what I would assume we're seeing here, is the inside of the cave, with the cave opening being behind him. The Wheel of Fortune. This is quite different for a Wheel of Fortune. I like that. Love the colors. Justice. The Hanged Man. death. This reflection here, looking at her old self, maybe. Temperance. The devil. Look at him reaching out to clutch those chains as if he isn't quite ready to let them go. The Tower. The Star. I love all of the colors, but this blue, oh, that blue really speaks to me. The Moon. The Sun. Judgment. The World. And the Wands with the Ace. I love how the branches here are mirrored in the roots. Love that. Two of Wands. And again, here we've got the landscape actually making the frame part of the landscape. I love that. It's really beautiful. The Three of Wands. This is one of my favorite things when the art has a frame and yet the art itself goes outside of the frame. But here, when you've got the image actually becoming part of the frame, or I guess the frame actually becoming part of the image, that's really effective. Five of Wands. Six. Seven. Eight of Wands. Nine. Ten of Wands. The Page. Knight of Wands. I love that she's riding the wolf. Assuming that's a wolf. Queen of Wands. I just checked the guidebook and it's a coyote, not a wolf. King of Wands. And moving into the cups. There's that Ace of Cups that keeps stalking me for the last few days. Two of Cups. Three of Cups. The Four. Five of Cups. Six. Seven of Cups. Eight. I love this. Looks like she did that with some salt, which is a common technique in watercolors to create texture. Salt absorbs some of the paint. Nine of Cups. And then creates this really cool texture. 10 of Cups. This is really interesting how the cups are upside down and it looks like the water is flowing into the clouds there. I'm just going to pull up the 10 of Cups in the guidebook because this is really very interesting. The family stands in awe beneath a rainbow that arcs over a rushing waterfall. Cups float gently in the sky, releasing streams of silvery water that glisten as they fall. The scene is one of joy and shared wonder, an invitation to recognize the magic that exists in the world when we are fully open to seeing it. The 10 of Cups speaks to the deep fulfillment that comes from connection, presence, and a willingness to be moved by beauty. It reminds us that sacredness isn't something far away. It lives in the everyday moments that invite us to pause, feel, and marvel. The way sunlight dances on water, the hush after a rainstorm, the sound of someone you love laughing. These are the moments when magic reveals itself. I love that. Page of Cups. Knight of Cups. The Queen. The King. Just going to move these to the side so they don't confuse my camera. It is easily confused. Ace of Swords. Two of Swords. No, you, off you go. Three of Swords. That little oracle cannot stop herself from jumping up on the desk. She likes to be the center of my attention. Always. Four of Swords. I love how he's resting on a cloud here. That's really great. Five of Swords. Love how it looks like there's possibly rain coming down in this card. Six of Swords. 7, 8 of Swords, 9, the 10 of Swords, looks like smoke in the background here. Page of Swords, Knight, Queen. She looks fierce, doesn't she? I love that. King of Swords, and the Ace of Coins or Pentacles. The 2 of Coins, Three of Coins. That's well done. I like that. 4 of Coins. Five of Coins. These almost look like planets. 6 of Coins. 7. 8 of Coins. 9. 10 of Coins. Page. Knight of Coins. God, Oracle fur. I love that she's riding a bear here. Queen of Coins. And the King. Okay, I'm going to zoom the camera out. We'll have another shuffle and pick a card, read the entry in the guidebook, and then have a few final words. Okay, so here we go. My favorite part. So very, very flexible cardstock. It's also got a really, really nice snap. And one more time. Overhand, nice overhand shuffle as well. And we'll just have a quick look at the fan. I'm not great at fanning cards, but It's a beautiful, beautiful fan. The cards just glide over each other. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Pick a card here. And we've got the High Priestess. So this is the guidebook entry. And it says, the High Priestess surrenders to the flow of fate, trusting in her surroundings to guide and protect her. Seated in stillness, she draws power from the moon's cycles, cultivating deep intuition and mysterious psychic insight. An observer of all things, including her own thoughts, she understands that true wisdom, come here, arises from silence and inner stillness. The thing about cats, right? They demand their cuddle, but when you go to pick them up, they're like, no. At least mine are like that. Okay, let's see here. True wisdom arises from silence and inner stillness. She encourages us to step back, embrace the unknown, and trust our intuition when confronted with life's mysteries. Through her guidance, we learn to wait, listen, and thrive in the void. And the journal questions are, how can you cultivate stillness and silence? You know, you could use these also as the basis for doing a reading itself. Is there anything you've been needing to relinquish control of? And in what way have things worked out exactly in the way that you needed them to? So this is the Earthbound Tarot, an indie deck. It was launched on Kickstarter earlier this year. I can't remember the exact date that it launched, but it wasn't that long ago. Let me just have a really quick look here, because it should show the date that it launched. So there's the, okay, so it launched on March 14th of 2025, and it funded April 15th. So it did take a little while to fund, but gosh, I'm glad that it did, because it's really, really a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. And talk about honoring the earth. Of all of the decks I have, this is definitely the most earthy. There's a number of oracle decks that I can think of that would, I can't remember the exact names of them, but I've got them on my shelf over there, that would probably be really perfect to go with this. So I love it. I think it's a great deck. It's beautiful. Really well done. The art style, I guess I would say, the actual drawings themselves are a little bit simplistic, but that's really deceptive, I think, because there's so much talent and skill that has gone into creating the paintings themselves. Like, as a watercolor artist myself, I can look at these and see, wow, everything that she did to create this. It's just fantastic. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. I love it. I love it, and I can hardly stop touching it. Oh, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Is this a deck that you were aware of? Were you one of the 300 odd backers that back this deck? And if so, have you received yours yet? And if you didn't back it, what do you think of it? Because you know what? I love it. I really do love it. I'm not sure if the creator is intending on selling these now that the campaign is over and the backers are receiving or have received their decks. I'm not sure exactly what her plans are going forward, but I can imagine that there's going to be a lot of people that do see this deck and wish they backed it. I'm sure glad I did. Well, thank you so much for joining me today to have a look at this really gorgeous deck. Love to hear your thoughts, comments. I do read absolutely everything. So I will let you go for now. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Until next time, may love and laughter light your days. Bye for now.